Welcome back to another Interview Wednesday here on Turnbuckle Trash Talk. I am the officiant, Kent, and joining me at this time is the society changer, Samuel C. Sam, thank you so much for joining me.
What's up, brother?
So I want to talk about you. I want to talk about wrestling, but I want to start at the very, very beginning. What is your first ever wrestling memory? When was the first time you were introduced to it? What's the first thing you remember seeing? When did wrestling first come into your life?
I want to say when I was in 10th or 11th grade, I used to go to a lot of the NFT shows up in Largo. That was close by my place. So I don't know, like if I fell in love with wrestling just by watching it, and it was very hard to figure out which school I can go to and who I can talk to.
So the first thing ever in wrestling you saw was a live NXT show, or
Yes,
did you see
yes,
it before that?
athlete-
Oh wow!
athlete,
So you
yeah.
started a lot later than a lot of the
yeah.
other people.
Oh yeah.
What was there a particular moment where you watched a specific show or a specific wrestler that made you decide I want to do this?
I don't know. Probably because my whole hearing disability made me realize that I need to change this world. And just by watching wrestling, I'm thinking like, what if I just be very successful doing what I'm doing, even though I have a hearing disability.
So you wanted to kind of show people that this disability wasn't going to hold you back from making a name in an industry like wrestling.
Oh yeah, big time.
Well, and the great thing about wrestling, too, is it does kind of have a public perception and kind of put things in the spotlight. I mean, maybe not as much as it did in the Attitude Era, but you are still in front of groups of people, and you're very open about the fact that you have a disability. You don't try to hide it. You actually incorporate it into kind of what you're doing. Where did you end up going to start training? What was that training experience like?
I went to I want to say it was LPW at the time, and it was great. Like it was it was a lot of work and training, but I was one of those kind of people where like I was very motivated and passionate when it comes to training. Like I would be at training like Monday through Friday. Normally right after work, I'll go straight to training, and sometimes I'll make my trainer mad because I don't want to leave the training place. So like if training will end at 10, I won't leave training until like probably around 11 because I want to learn different stuff, and pretty much I want to graduate and move on with my life and show the world that I can actually do this.
So you started at LPW, and that was under Frank Reyes, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you, I
Yes,
believe,
sir.
were in the same class as Fabu, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
What was that training experience like? What did you find came easiest and came hardest for you in that process?
I think the easiest will probably be the whole the drills that we did, because me and Fab, we would, of course, Fabu, we wouldn't like we'll sweat to death, but we won't throw up. Like we'll really push
You had a
it.
lot of endurance.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
But the hardest part will probably be just building the mat together and learning how to take the move and give the move. So it was very scary on both parts, because if you do it in an actual show and you mess them up.
So basically learning like match psychology and putting a match together and everything like that. Did you find like things like bumping came pretty easily? Because that was what was hardest for me was.
Actually, no. Actually, wasn't that bad, because how I like to think about it like this is that if you're very passionate with wrestling, the bumping part is not even that bad. Like if you keep on doing it, you just forget about the whole bumping part. The only thing that's worse is waking up the next morning feeling the pain.
It comes back to haunt you.
Oh yeah,
it really does.
That's the worst part.
So did you have any influences from wrestlers that you were watching that kind of like influenced your style? Because you have a very fast-paced, high-speed, kind of like high-flying, but also just like really quick style. Was there someone that you watched that you found was an influence
I'm
for
a
you?
big fan of Matt Tydell, that go by Everborn. I'm a huge fan of his. And like later on in my wrestling career, I went to WWN, and I was done by Francisco Chiato, Matt Tydell, and Chris Silvio. So when I found out that Matt Tydell was there, I was like, oh man, I really got to learn a lot of stuff when it comes to him, because he's my idol. I'm a huge fan of Matt Tydell.
I'm always impressed by wrestlers who go to multiple different schools. I feel like it expands your knowledge base. You get kind of a lot more experience that those who only go to one school graduate and then move on, get to do. How many different schools have you been to? You mentioned Frank Reyes, you mentioned WWN. Did you go to any other schools?
No, only reason because of my style. I kind of think my style fit like I mean if I go with Frank Reyes, it's very old school. But if I want to learn like all these other stuff as in like high flying and speed pace, I'll go to Chris Silvio that's owned by Matt Seidel, and so it's that's probably only two places. And
Yeah,
that's it.
one of the big things I've heard about Frank Reyes' training style is that he teaches you like very, very strong fundamentals and basics. Where it seems like Matt and Chris Silvio, they can teach you a little more like flavor and flair and a little more extra to add on.
And I'm
to
the kind of
those
person
basics.
where I like to learn old school stuff and new school stuff because it's 2020, and I want to bring old school but add a little new school with the old school.
Yeah, it's important to remember where wrestling came from. I mean, you
yeah.
don't want to turn away fans. And I think this happens a lot, actually, recently, where a lot of the old school fans are getting turned away and why they're moving more towards like a NWA where they can see more of the old school.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the new school is very much taking over in terms of like a lot more spots, a lot less fundamentals. And I think it's cool that it's important to you to remember the fundamentals and to incorporate the fundamentals as well as some of the new stuff. So you got to get the best of both.
Always.
What was your first match like? Do you remember who you fought? Do you remember how you felt that day, how it went?
Yeah.
Take me through the journey of your first match.
I can say this right now. My first match is on YouTube, so if you want to check it out, type in Samuel C versus Fabu Andre.
That's your first match?
Oh, yeah. That was my first official match. That was back in 2015 up in Waimama. And Frankie Reyes really see a lot of potential in both of us. It was probably one of the best matches Frankie ever saw because he literally, right after our match, he literally was crying in the back because how great the match was. And a lot of fans see a lot of potential in this in wrestling. As you can see right now, I'm pretty much the top star in all over the state of Florida, and you got Fabu that's all over in Japan and Italy, and it's hard work does pay off. If you have a passion and you really love this business, just keep on at it. Don't give up on it.
Now you incorporate a lot of social media into, promoting yourself and everything like that. And that's kind of a new era thing. I mean, I see a lot of people from, the olden days that struggle with that.
Yeah.
What's the importance of social media to you and what encourages you to use it as much as you do?
How I like to think about it like this, like I don't want to like brag about my stuff, but how a lot of people knew about me was social media. Because when I found out that I had my first match, I just started blowing up my Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, because I want people to know me and understand what I'm dealing with me being a hearing aid and wearing a hearing aid, how I can overcome odd in this business. That I love social media. Like I'm a huge, like as you can see, I'm on social media 24/7.
Yeah, you really are. You do have a very, very strong social media presence. I also have kind of come to think of you as the guy who doesn't say no. And I mean that in a good way in terms of you don't turn down any opportunity you're given. It's not, it doesn't seem to be necessarily about pay or who you're working or where you're working. It seems to be more about like wherever I'm offered an opportunity, I'm going to take it. Why is that important? What have you found to be important about that in terms of your career?
I like to think about it like I said since day one, I love this business. Like I don't care if I had to face a female. I don't know, you probably seen it. I fought Jenna Van Muscle twice. I don't care. Like I mean, I don't care if I had to fight a low person in the ring. It's all part of this business, and that's what everybody has to understand. People want to worry about pay and all this other stuff. No, if you have the heart of this business, go ahead and do it. Because I'm telling you, like, it's going to pay off in the long run.
So what's your favorite part? Do you like performing more, or do you like the athleticism aspect of it? Like, what calls to you most about wrestling?
I want to say probably the performance.
So like a lot more character, a lot more like
Oh yeah.
crowd interaction,
Oh
that
yeah.
kind of
Only
stuff.
because like my personality is very open, and there's a lot of stuff that would shock a lot of people that wouldn't think that I would actually do in the middle of the ring, and then when they actually see it, it's like, wait, I didn't think you would do that. Like you shock me. Like, I mean, I do love the athleticism, but I'm the kind of person where I want the fan to like laugh and have a good time, go home, tell their family and all these other stuff, and then the next time they bring their people, I want them to talk about me in a good way. I don't care if it's in a bad way, but as long as they're talking about me, that's where it will get my name out there more.
So, what's the goal for you? What's your long-term vision? Where would you like to end up? Where is that next step for you? Because you are doing a lot of good work on the indies. Where do you want to be your like shining moment?
My goal would probably be is to wrestle at NXT. That's my
NXT?
yeah. That's my and who knows what will happen later on, but that's my number one top goal.
Like if you got to NXT, you'd say I've done it. Like I've
Yeah,
done what I wanted
yes.
to do. Everything
Now I have to
beyond
think
this
of-
is
yeah.
like gravy,
Yeah.
effectively.
Because like NXT was the first time that I ever saw wrestling, so why not just reach my goal and actually at least wrestle at NXT in front of thousands of people around the world. So that's
Well, and NXT really does have a stronger focus on athleticism and highlighting letting people do what they do
Oh, yeah.
best.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas a lot of WWE gets criticized for like limiting what their performers can do. It seems like in NXT they're still like, you do what you do,
Yeah.
do what you do
Oh, yeah.
best, and we're going to support you in that. So I could see that definitely lending itself more to you. What do you think are your greatest strengths and weaknesses when it comes to wrestling? What would you like to get better at, and what do you think you shine through at right now?
I think probably my greatest strength is probably I finally know what my character is in wrestling. Cause it took me probably 4 years to
Yeah, like
figure
you
out.
went through a phase as the fastest man
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
building, and now you're a
And
society changer.
before I was the fan hero of wrestling, and then I was the fastest man of wrestling. And that one, it took me a while because there's a lot of fast people in the indies. And then I'm like, okay, a lot of people want me to incorporate my hearing disability in this. So I'm like, you know what? And I'm more focused on social media and the whole world, so why not change my name to Society Changer? That incorporate my hearing disability, and I would show the whole entire world that, hey, you can do whatever you want to do in this society and in this entire world.
So now I'm going to ask you the 4 questions I ask everybody at the end of every interview. Number 1, what's kind of your perspective about wrestling as a whole? Right now we have the Wednesday Night Wars going on. We have NWA kind of pulling itself up, rising like a phoenix. Impact is actually making some moves that nobody expected.
Yeah.
New Japan's having a presence in America. What's your feeling about wrestling as a whole? I ask people simply if it's a boom or a bust, but I think it's a little more complicated than that. What
Yeah.
are your thoughts about wrestling right now?
Mine will probably be I'm happy that NWA is coming back. I really am because NWA was very popular back then, and I watched that a lot. I pretty much watch it every every Wednesday or every Wednesday on YouTube. Like all the full stuff is on YouTube, but I'm more focused on 205 Live.
205 Live? Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I don't know why. It's just I think the stuff
Well,
that
it's smaller guys,
Yeah,
more
yeah.
athleticism, speed. Like I could see why
So
that
I
would call
watched
to
that
you.
and I watched NXT. So probably 205 Live and NXT is like getting bigger and stronger in the indies.
What misconceptions or illusions did you have about wrestling when you first got into it? Like a lot of people thought, oh, I didn't think it would hurt as much, or I thought there weren't as many people involved in wrestling as there are. Like, what kind of illusions did you have? And then once you got into it, you found out, oh, that's not the case.
I honestly thought I didn't have what it takes in this business, only because of my hearing disability. Like I honestly didn't think a lot of people will take me like very serious. So that's why I did a lot of. That's why I've been training a lot and start going to shows. And every time I step foot in the ring, I prove to the fan and to the people in the back and to whoever is watching that hey, please sign me up to whatever show that you're on. And I promise you'll put people in the seat and the rating will go up.
If you had to give a piece of advice to someone who wanted to get into wrestling, they haven't started training, they haven't even looked up schools yet, what would you tell them?
I will pretty much tell them, follow your dream, follow Just Society. Wherever Just Society tell you to go, follow it. That's all I got to say. I know I'm a society changer, but the society will tell you to wherever you go, like you want to be a firefighter or wrestling or anything, follow your dream. Never let no negative people take away from it. Just follow your dream.
If you had to change one thing in wrestling, what would it be? Whether it's in the ring or in the audience or backstage, what would you change about wrestling?
I would pretty much change a lot of the like disability and fans that don't think that they have a heart of wrestling and life. I will pretty much change them. Like I will make them happy 24/7 so they can follow the dream and understand that.
So you would encourage people who want to get into wrestling but don't think they have what it takes to
Yes.
really give it a try
Yes.
and really pursue it.
Oh yeah, amen on that.
Now, in a segment Ref Tony Stabila is called Take It Home, I want you to promote all your social media, anything you want people to know about, any promotions please people can see you at, maybe not specific shows,
Yeah.
but anything. This is your chance to shine, my man.
This is Samuel C, the Society Changer. Check me out at Instagram, Real Samuel C. Check me out at Twitter, Real Samuel C. Check me out on Facebook, Samuel Conyers. Check me out at my Facebook wrestling page, Real Samuel C, the Society Changer, and also check me out on YouTube, Samuel C Wrestling or Real Samuel C.
Well, Sam, thank you so much for joining me.
Always, buddy.
And thank you guys for tuning in to another Interview Wednesday here on Turnbuckle Trash Talk.